Hello everybody, welcome to our next show. Thank you for that fabulous show from the lovely Michelle and Mel. Are you all having a super morning? We are. Got special guests, fur guests in the building as well. Isn't that brilliant? So, where are we? We're at Highlight Crafts and it's social shopping. Thank you for joining us this morning. We've got a few extended hours, aren't we? So it's a little bit different today because we've got some fabulous special guests joining us. But now we've got an hour with our lovely Mel and we're going back to our brand new launch of Designer Selection number 2, which is fabulous. Okay, we've got everybody on Facebook and Instagram, and also you can watch us on YouTube and on the website, which is brilliant. Okay, so there's 4 different places where you can actually watch us. However, to shop with us on these platforms is a little bit different. So let me share with you how to shop on Instagram and Facebook. When you're on those 2 platforms, it's really easy. I'm going to give you a code, shop, and then a code. And the first one is shop, bear with, designer, okay? Shop designer for $49.99, okay, on today's launch, which is brilliant. Once you've popped that in, you'll get a message back from ourselves. In that message, there is a link. So when you are then ready for checking out, all you need to do is click on one of those messages, click the link, it takes you to our website, to your shopping basket, log in and check out. If you're wanting to shop on our website, that again is really, really easy. Again, while you're on there shopping, it's a case of clicking the items that are appearing on the page, add those to the basket. When you're ready, you click the shopping basket, you log in and you check out. It is so easy. Okay, there is something that I do need to just explain to everybody, or this is what our lovely Diane's given us so we get it right. Okay, got a little cheat sheet. So for everybody that is a Highlight Club member, okay, if you're planning to shop during the Highlight Craft live shows, please remember that baskets during the live video are hosted on the live shopping VIP site and will show full prices. But as Club Highlight members, you can shop in advance on the Highlight Crafts website as usual, okay? Just head to the today's offers page. That's all you need to do, okay? So if you are a Highlight Club member, just shop normally on today's offers across on our website, which is fantastic. So shall we get through onto this? Because it's a little bit special. It's beautiful. Absolutely loved working with this. Now, earlier on this morning, very first thing, it was our lovely Stephanie and David that launched the die collection of our Designer Selection. And that is still available in this hour. So it's Shop Designer $49.99. It's in the studio. And also you've got all the artwork and everything as well if you want to do that. So you've got these 4 fabulous dies. Now let me just share with you the boards. Okay, so this is some of the elements that you can actually be working with. Absolutely beautiful. So that's the first one. That's the second one, and all the backing papers and everything that you can see on here, they're all with it. So that is what is the download. That's the third one. Okay, let me straighten that up a little bit for you all. Aren't they beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. And then finally, this one, okay. And as you've seen in the background, there's some stenciling, etc. going on, so they're coming up momentarily. So for that one, Shop Designer pops that into your basket, $49.99. Now, we're going to go to the stencils because there are some stencils. The lovely Mel has joined us.
Hi.
There she is. Okay.
Hi.
So you're going to get 3 physical. This is the physical stencils. So that's the first one. There's your roses. Okay. Then we move on upside down. That's your second one. And then your third one is that one. Aren't they just beautiful? So those are the 3 physical stencils as well. And then also the Minecraft Studio element of it all. So all of this that you see in here all of this beautiful artwork, and it is absolutely gorgeous.
It's stunning.
So
is this your SVG?
No, this is your Minecraft Studio. This is
Studio.
still with the first bundle.
Right.
There's your reflections. These are now your digi-stamps. Look at these. Those are your papers.
These are I don't know. They're my favourites, and they're my favourites. But I like them all.
Yeah, I can't pick a favourite, I'm afraid. I just can't, because they're all just delicious. Absolutely beautiful. So that is your full bundle for the first new, for the second designer selection launch, which is amazing.
Right, so that's your Minecraft Studio that comes with your dies, right?
Yeah, and your stencils. Yeah.
Right, go on, you go through the stencils bit, and then I'll
done that.
Already done
it.
Stencils.
Yep.
Right, I want to talk to you about SVG files, because these are fabulous. So you might notice that we've got a very, very, very good deal on the STX tattered lace machine. Amanda's read you out that little note at the beginning so that you know what to do. What we've decided to do this weekend is do an absolute, what we call a naked deal. So you get the machine in the box, whatever comes in the box, obviously whatever's inside the machine's memory, and then we do it at a really good price. Okay, so we've taken off the deal where we were including the tattered lace download. That might be back at some point, but for this weekend we're doing a raw deal on the SDX TL. I'll get Amber to put it on your screen so that you can see the price, because it blew my mind. I was like, okay, but that's it. You're not getting the club and you're not getting the download, you're getting the machine. So if that's what you want at that price point, absolutely go ahead and shop it, because they're in stock and they'll be shipped out to you on Monday, Ethan? On Monday. Right, so first of all, when we've done the SVG download, we've given you the stencils. Okay, so you can go ahead now and download these stencils. You're going to pay for them and check out, pay for them, job done. Download it. You can be crafting with this afternoon. But as you well know, when we bring you stencils, it's not just a stencil, is it? Because it becomes a cutting file. I'm going to show you how to do that. It becomes a paper piercing file, a foiling file, an embossing file. So don't just think, I don't do stencils. This isn't about it being a stencil. This is about it being an SVG file, which means you can draw it, foil it, emboss it, do all those amazing things that we do as scan and cut users. So you're getting all 4 of the stencils in there. You're also then going to get these beautiful pieces of artwork. Now, when we bring you SVG files, we bring you them in 3 different sizes. So we give you the reflections in the original size, a smaller and a larger size, or a larger and an extra large, depending on what the artwork calls for. You also get decoupage layers. So you don't need to cut into it, cut it several times and snip into it. You literally get the decoupage layers that go with it. You also get the reflections artwork, but you get the reverse of the reflections artwork. So if you want them opposite, so you can create symmetry, you can absolutely do that as well. And then we also give you the detail lines. So all of these detail lines that you can see in these blue images here, you could be foiling on top of that design with your foil starter kit from Brother, which is super, super, super exciting. You could also use that for drawing, you can use it for your embossing, etc., etc. So you get everything you could possibly need to make the most out of that download. Now you can buy this by itself as an SVG download, and you can buy the Minecraft Studio separate as a Minecraft Studio download, but you can also get them together on a deal. And this is the thing with scan and cut, because now if you change your print at the print settings, so if you make it 75% of the original or 150% if you've got a bigger printer, you can have those in all those different sizes. But also you can take them into Minecraft Studio and change the size. And then you can do that thing where we turn it black and use that to create a cutting file. So loads and loads and loads of different options. And if you're sitting there going, well, that's all right, Mel, I haven't got scan and cut yet, I'm going to talk to you about the deal that we've got on the tattered lace one in a minute or two, because that is phenomenal. So if you want this, Amanda, it is
Shop Digital, and it's $24.99, which is incredible.
That is amazing value for money.
So you're getting your SVGs and you're also getting the artwork download as well, which is fantastic. Absolutely amazing.
I need to have a look at this Minecraft Studio because I haven't seen it yet.
So when you come up, have a...
Sospeso trasparente.
Yep.
we've got the sheets on the show for you as
we
well.
We have. I think Stephanie did a little demo with that this morning.
Did you know?
Yeah, I think
Indeed.
she did.
So, the what? Did it? Did she make a mess? Did she? Surprise, surprise. Now then, you've also got these as well. Now, these are fabulous because these are your digi-stamps. So you can print these off, colour them in, scan them in, cut them out, which is fabulous, isn't it? So you've got your digi-stamps, you've got your backing papers. I mean, for the small amount of money that it costs you extra, I would definitely be getting this without a shadow of a doubt. So you've got all of these, all of this artwork with the decoupage layers, etc., plus your SVG files, Shop Digital, $24.99. Crazy value, right?
It is.
It's good, isn't it? I love it.
Amazing.
Right. Amanda, I'm just going to go over here and talk about this machine, if
yes,
that's all right. Can
absolutely.
you give that to Anne because it needs to go in charge?
Yes.
Right, my lovelies, let me talk to you about this machine. In fact, I'm just going to have a little sit down with you, I think. You all right? You having a nice weekend? Ethan, grab a chair, love. You're going to have a thighs like a footballer if you keep squatting like that, bless him. I noticed him in the Devon Moore show. He's like that, squatting down. I'm like, kid, how'd you do that for that long? And he's my camera a bit like that if I did it. Right, let me introduce you to the tattered lace scan and cut. We've had a very close working relationship with Brother for quite a long time now. Well, as you can imagine, 9.5 years I've been demonstrating this machine. And a few weeks ago, I've been badgering them to say, can we get a machine under 299? And they were like, no, absolutely not. And then they came back to me because I'm like a dog with a bone and said, all right, then we can do it on the tattered lace one. So let me tell you a little bit about this machine, because if you're brand new to us here at liveshopping.vip, you might never have seen this before. So this is a digital cutting machine that has a scanner built in. Now, me being cynical, I've been doing something creative for a living for 38 years this year, and me being cynical was like, why do I need a scanner in a cutting machine? Well, I wouldn't buy one now without it. And one of the reasons is because we can now cut out our reflections artwork using a cutting file that you would buy as a digital download like the one we've just shown you. And what's great about the scan and cut in particular is, first of all, it doesn't need a computer. I know I've got one set up here, and you can absolutely use it in conjunction with your computer if you want to, because there is a software called Canvas Workspace, and it's free from Brother. Brother also do an Artspira app, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. So what Brother did was they bought out a family of machines called the CM machine, and it was brilliant. And it's the only machine out there, as far as I know, that has a scanner built in. And we sold tens of thousands of them, but there were also a lot of people that kept them in the box. And they kept them in the box because the pressure and the blade depth you had to set manually. So you had to understand how the machine worked, what the pressure meant, what the blade depth meant, what it needed for all these different materials. And a lot of people kept them in boxes. I didn't have that option. I had to get it out and learn it. And because I've learnt it, I now have an insight into how it sees things, what it needs, and then I come along and give you all that education, which is fab. So what Brother did was they did a worldwide survey and said to all the people, all the customers in all the countries where Scan and Cut is stocked, what's your biggest thing that you would like changed? And the number one thing that came back was an auto blade. And the auto blades, if I show you this is the blade that comes in the machine. You'll see there's no numbers around the bottom of it. Okay, so there's no blade depth for you to set, okay? There's also no pressure settings that you need to set because it's an auto blade. Now, there are lots of different machines out there, a couple of which claim they have an auto blade. What it actually is a drop-down menu. So once you've got a cutting file on your computer screen and you want to send it to your machine to cut, you then get a drop-down menu, and it's either lightweight paper, medium weight paper, heavyweight paper, lightweight card. I don't know what that means, okay? So what the Scan and Cut does is it literally goes along, it looks at the piece of paper or fabric or denim or vinyl or whatever it is, it looks at the depth of it. It then comes onto the material itself and it looks at it again. And then it adjusts itself, so it sets its own pressure and its own blade depth automatically. That takes out all that learning curve of what pressure do I need for this, what blade depth do I need for that. It's not cutting right through, what am I doing wrong? It takes all that away because it sets it for you, which is really clever. Now, one of the other things, as well as having a 300 dpi scanner built in, and it's a brother scanner, so it's not just a random craft company that went, right, we're going to put a scanner in a cutting machine and see how it goes. This is brother, okay? So they've been doing scanners for a long, long time, and there's one of their scanners built in here. The other thing that they do is really very, very generous, is the patterns that come included inside the machine's memory. So if I just grab my stylus here and I go into patterns here, you've got loads and loads and loads of basic shapes. So you've got all your basic shapes, and you can cut these in millimetre increments, a minimum, I would say, for each one of those of 250 different sizes, minimum. You can then take these shapes and digitally glue them by welding them together. You've then got all your different categories. So you've got your nature, you've got food, you've got animals, you've got zodiac signs, you've got travel, you've got all sorts of different categories in here. And when you click on one of those categories, it opens up with different files. Again, that are resizable. So you've got all of these different elements. These are included inside your machine's memory. Now, there are 682 of them. I know, right? And I remember being at Vol.2 show a long, long time ago, and this gentleman came up to me with his wife, and he said to me, my wife has thousands of dies. Why does she need one of these? So I spoke to her about the oval nesting dies. I said, how many sets do you have? And she looked at him and looked at me and went, about 12. I was like, right, because every oval's a different shape and size. She said, yeah. I said, right, there's one in here, but there's a little function inside this machine that allows you to separate the height from the width. So you can now have all the different shapes and sizes of ovals. This machine enables you to be the crafter that you want to be. It enables you to make the project that you want to make, not the project that you're restricted to making by the size of the tools that you own, which is just fabulous. On top of that, you're also going to get 7 full fonts, so uppercase, lowercase, numbers and punctuation, and you also get 100 quilt block designs. So if on a Monday you want to choose a design and cut it at 6 inches, it will work it all out for you. You literally select the block that you want, set it to the size you want it to be when it's stitched, and the machine does the rest for you. It's super, even down to drawing it on your fabric, because you can get erasable pens and a universal pen holder, and then it will cut it with a 1/4 inch seam allowance for you. It's amazing. Now, on top of that, just with this particular model of machine, the tattered lace one, Brother launched an app probably about a year ago now called Art Spira. It's free to download, and through Art Spira, it is subscription based if you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be. So there's loads of free stuff on there that you can access without subscribing. But one of the things that they've allowed us to do is access 90 tattered lace designs that you can then send to your machine via that app and craft with. Okay, so you're getting 90 on top of that. Also, you're going to get your blade and your housing. You get 2 standard mats, so 2 of these sticky mats. And there's a whole story behind these mats, because it's really difficult to get mats right. If they make them too sticky, you can't get the card off. If they don't make them sticky enough, people complain, like me. So we found a product called Pinflair Stencil Glue. Christine will be in, I think, either later on today or tomorrow. And you can I got Brother to agree that you could retack your mats with that, and there's videos. There is also over 13 hours worth of content on our YouTube channel for free. Now, this is a brilliant opportunity. If we brought you, all right, let's put it into perspective, shall we? So instead of buying a die cutting machine, and our Pro Cut is £169.99, so it's £170. You're going to buy a machine that has 682 shapes, images, icons, phrases pre-installed into the machine's memory that you can cut in a minimum of 250 different sizes. You can then add things like a foiling starter kit, an embossing starter kit, a piercing starting kit, all of those different things. It also has the scanner built in, and you also have access to Canvas Workspace for free. Now, let's say it's £170 for the Pro Cut. This is £250. So for £80 more than buying the Pro Cut at the price that it is right now, you can get an SDX with that full auto blade technology for that price that you're seeing on your screen, which is crazy value, right? Brilliant, isn't it? Right, so let's do a basic cut first of all, shall we? Because I want you to see how this auto blade works. Amanda, do you just want to read the details out for me on the machine while I just grab a piece of card and then we can get going?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's shop lace, okay, and it's $249.99 for this machine, okay. And in the screen you can actually see the front of it. Just want to lift it up because it's got the tattered lace on the front of there as well, which really is lovely, isn't it?
Yep.
So it's a slightly different colour as well. So for this shop lace, $249.99, the naked deal that it is, and that will pop in the Scan and Cut tattered lace machine, SDX TL for tattered lace.
And you, sorry Amanda to interrupt, but you will notice on your screen it should be £399. I know. I nearly fell off my chair. So I went home on Thursday afternoon, had Friday at home yesterday, then drove back this morning, and Diane said, okay, so we've changed the deal and it's this. I said, sorry, what? I'm like, okay, that's fine. As long as it's okay, I'm happy. Right, so let's do a basic cut because I want you to see exactly how this works. So I'm going to switch the machine off first of all, and I'm going to talk you around the actual machine itself, because it honestly, and I'm somebody that I like to try lots of different stuff and I get bored really easily. I have the attention span of a gnat. I'm like, right, I've learned that now, what's next? Next, like a lot of crafters are. But this has held my attention for 9.5 years. And do you know something? I'll be really honest with you, I'm still finding new things to do with it, which is really exciting. And it's the best time to buy one now because you have all that education. We do a Scan and Cut club, which is £10 a month, you know. We have all this free education on our YouTube channel. So when you first get your machine, you're going to lift your screen up. Now it lifts up at lots of different levels depending on where the light is and how you like to sit in your craft room. You've got the international symbol for power, so we just press that for a few seconds until that screen starts to light up. And then while it's got the Brother logo on there, I'll talk you through these. So this is your home screen. So when you're ready, when the images start to come on this screen, we'll press home and it will take you to the starting point of the machine. This button here that looks like a little mat, so it's got the square with the grid in like the mat has, with an arrow going in and an arrow coming out, is your load and unload mat. And then here, if you suddenly change your mind and you're like, oh no, you can pause it. So now we've got the pictures on the screen, we're going to press home and we're going to press OK. So it gives you an instruction. Now you'll notice at the top here you've got the Wi-Fi symbol. So this machine is fully Wi-Fi enabled, which means that you can link it to your home Wi-Fi. If you go away and you're going to a club, you can link it to that Wi-Fi and you can send images and icons from here into Canvas Workspace like that, literally like that. You just link it all together. There's all the videos will show you how to do that. You'll also see that here it says update available. Any updates they decide to do in the last 9.5 years have all been free, and all you're going to do is click on that, and as long as it's connected to your internet, it will then automatically update for you, which is brilliant, right? So let's just cut a basic shape. All right, so I'm going to sound, if you've never seen me before, I'm going to sound like an absolute Fruit Loop, which I have to say isn't far off the mark, but I imagine that the machine's talking to me, right? I know. And it says to me, what do you want to do? And I say to it, I want to choose a pattern, okay? So you go to the box that says pattern, you click on that, and it'll say, what do you want to cut? Now I'm going to say, I want to cut a square, please. So click on the basic shapes, select the square, then it will say, what size do you want it to be? And I'll say I want it to be 150 millimetres. Now if you don't work in millimetres, wherever there's a spanner there, you can click on the spanner and you can switch it to inches or back to millimetres. That simply, okay? There's nothing difficult about this machine at all. So if I say I want to make it 150 mil, you just press the plus until it gets to 150 mil. Now if you wanted more than one, you can type it in here. And if you want to change it as a percentage, there is a button there that allows you to resize as a percentage. So for example, if you've taken a reflection like this, which is the artwork that goes with the SVG files, you can, if you've printed this off at 75%, all you need to do then is make the go into your percentage and resize it down to 75%. It's easy, okay? All you need to do is learn what the little buttons mean, and all that education on YouTube will teach you that. So when you're ready, when you're finished, so I don't want to do anything else with this shape now, there will always be in the bottom right hand corner a blue button that either says OK or set. This one says set, and we're going to put it on what we now call a workable mat. So now I can grab this and I can move it anywhere on that screen just by using that stylus, okay? So all we're going to do now, I don't want to do anything else to that shape, I want to cut it. So we just keep pressing that blue button in the bottom right hand corner, the one that says set or OK. On this screen it says OK. Then you'll come to here and it says please select. Now I want to cut this, but you could draw it, emboss it, foil it, pierce it, because we have all these extra accessory kits that you can add on when you're ready. So we're going to press cut. All of this now is greyed out, and you'll see the start button is also greyed out. That's because the mat isn't loaded. Now, this is the most important bit, okay? You're going to open up the front of your machine. In your machine, the other thing that people wanted was storage. So you've got lots of storage in here. Look at this lot that I keep in here. Keep all my tools in, my scrapers, my pens, my vinyl blade, my CM blade, my scissors, my fabric blade, all go and stay in there now, so I know where everything is. Now when you're loading the mat, it's these two rollers here that are going to take the mat into the machine. So you're going to push the mat up to those rollers and make sure it's in between that ledge there and that ledge there. Okay, and you're going to keep hold of the mat. Then you're going to come to here and you're going to press that button that looks like the mat, and that will load it. It's really important that you keep hold of the mat while you're loading it, because if you don't and it slips away from one of those rollers and one of them takes it in and the other doesn't, your mat will do that. And then you need to change your mat because you won't get it back in your machine again. So it's all of these little hints and tips that will make that journey really enjoyable for you. So all I'm going to do now, I can see on here I've got half cut on. So this last time this machine was used, we were cutting vinyl. So we're going to take half cut off and we're just going to press OK. It's now processing that information. But I want to show you this, the spanner. So cut speed. Now many years ago, in fact 21 years ago, I used to demonstrate cricket when it first came out, one with the little cartridges that used to plug in, that one. And the guy who invented that came over to see us and he said to me, the quicker the speed, the better the cut. And I went, I don't think that makes sense, because surely slower is more precise. And he said, all right, think about putting a log through a big industrial saw. If you do it slowly, it does that, judders. If you do it quickly, you get a clean cut. So in 21 years of using electronic cutting machines, I have never, ever changed the speed from full. So my advice would be set it to 9 and never touch it again, okay? Your cut pressure, so the amount of force that the machine puts on the blade to get it to cut through that product is on auto. So it automatically works it out. The cut amount, so how far down that unit the blade goes when it's cutting, is automatic. So when I now press start, you'll see what happens with this blade. So I'm going to press start now. It's going to load the mat further in. It's going to come across and it's going to look at that product. So we're not guessing, it's actually looking at the product itself, which is amazing. Then it'll come back down. Now watch, it'll adjust itself slightly, very slightly, there. And now it will cut me that perfect square every single time. It's absolutely brilliant. Look at that, perfect, absolutely perfect. And it's as simple as that. Okay, so let's just do a quick recap, Amanda, of the SVGs and the MCS, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how you would cut out artwork like this. So the artwork that you're buying as your SVG, I'm going to show you how to do that with the scanner and a cutting file. Okay, right, lovely. See you in a minute.
So that's a bit good, isn't it? And the price is just phenomenal. Right. So we have now got, let me just share with you what this is. I'm just going to move it across here. Actually, I'm knocking all that off. So let's start with the SVGs, okay? So your SVGs include your stencil files, okay, which is wonderful. Now, like Mel suggested, when we're talking about a stencil file, it's not just a stencil, it's many things now because it's as an SVG file, okay? Just think of it as a beautiful cutting file, that's all it is. But that is included, and there's 4 of them. Then, when we talk about SVG files, now I know out there on the internet, there's thousands of them available for everybody to buy. However, a huge majority of them, they're just silhouettes. That's exactly what you're getting. It's a train, it's an aeroplane, whatever it may be. Our SVGs are different because they come from our dies, okay? When we talk about a die, you die cutters out there, there's detail lines in all of that as well, which again is amazing. So you're not only just getting an SVG file, you get the outside matte layer if there is one. You get an SVG file that is the actual detail dies if it's applicable. However, you also get the artwork, okay? So there's no colouring in. You get all of that artwork, but it doesn't stop there. You don't just get the size of the artwork that it was originally. You will also get either it will be original, large and small, or it will be original, large and extra large, okay? They're the 3. You'll get 3 sizes. Okay, that's what you'll get. So it's not just one, it's not just a cutting file that's a silhouette. There's a lot more to it, okay, which is amazing. However, it doesn't stop there with those 3 sizes. We're also going to give it you as a reverse reflection. So it's flipped over. Again, in all those 3 sizes. I know, right? With the detail cuts and everything in it as well, which is amazing. Then, on top of that, we're also going to give you the decoupage layers in all those 3 sizes and in the reverse reflection, which is ridiculous, isn't it? So it doesn't stop there either, because it is the SVGs and it's the Brother Scan and Cut. You can now resize these to your heart content, okay? But we give you that jumping off point of those 3 different sizes, but with all that capability. I know Mel's got videos out there just recently. She's done something fabulous with the foiling. So when you've got your SVG file and that detail lined it back on top and then foiled all that detail into your dies, or into your SVG files, and it looks amazing, okay, which is fantastic. So that is your SVGs, and then this is your MCS. Now, I think both of them just go hand in hand. Whenever you've got an SVG or MCS, they work beautifully together. Now, all of this artwork here, so you've got all of your icons and embellishments, like so. This is now your reflections, so that is the one that actually works with your dies. However, Minecraft Studio, you take that and make it black. You can still scan in all those elements as a black image.
Davina is asking, does the SVG and artwork bundle include the stencil files?
Yes.
There you go, Davina.
Yes,
don't be sorry for questions, Davina.
Yes. Yeah, no, don't, absolutely not.
She also says, could you use the embossing function on the scan and cut with the SVG files? Absolutely.
Yes.
So an SVG is a scalable vector, so it's a way that a file is written, which means that you can make them bigger or smaller. So basically, it's lines or shapes. So anything that you can cut, you can use with your embossing. So when we sell you SVG files, for example, if you have a look at this one on the screen, this is one of the stencil designs, Ethan. You could draw that, or foil it, or emboss it, or cut it, or pierce it. So yes, absolutely can do that. Sorry, Amanda, we've got quite a lot of questions coming in, and I just wanted to
absolutely. I
share them. Lorraine says, anyone worrying about the size of the screen on the tattered lace machine? All I can say is my eyesight is shocking and I can see it perfectly well. It's a fabulous machine. Thank you for that, Lorraine. That's a great shout, absolutely. Anne C, I need to know what PID is, love. Because she says the percentage size option is also a PID, as it's not available on the CM machines. I don't know what a PID is. We live in a world of abbreviations, and I don't know what that is. Will you let me know, just because I'm nosy? And then we also have a question from Lisa. Can I ask a question? My low-tack CM mat is losing tackiness. Is there a way to make it sticky again as my projects are lifting halfway through cutting? Yes, there is, Lisa. Head to our YouTube channel. There is a video showing you how to retack your mats correctly, and you need pin flare stencil glue. So go to liveshopping.vip, go onto the pin flare brand shop, and you will find stencil glue. It's not the Cadence stencil spray, it comes in a bottle. So that will be the one, and there's a video showing you how to do it. Right, Amanda, sorry, oh, hang on. Oh no, we've done that about. Yes, the Micro Studio, right, so Marina again. Is the Micro Studio artwork come with the SVG deal? Yes, so you get the SVGs of what would be the dies, the SVGs of the stencils, and the Minecraft Studio artwork with all the elements and the papers. Point of difference. Oh, that's what it threw me, because it says PID. I was like, got it, right, brilliant, thank you for that. That would have driven me crazy all day. Yes, it is a point of difference, you're quite right. Right, Amanda.
Sorry, for all of that,
Sorry.
Is it Marie that was asking about all the different...
Marina.
It's Shop Digital, okay? Shop Digital will get you the SVGs, the stencils, and the artwork download.
No, Amber, can you just bring him in? We've got a special little guest today. Look at this little chap here. He's blind. He's called Snoop. He's Amber's little dog. Look. Look.
Hello, Snoop Dogg.
Isn't he gorgeous? Look at him. He's had his hair cut, Amber.
He has. He smells amazing.
He does smell amazing. Look at him.
Hello.
He's lovely,
He's
isn't he?
talking to you, look.
He is, saying hello. Oh, look at him. Isn't he lovely?
Oh, dear.
Right.
Amber.
I know, we're having technical hitches with our screens. Right, let's do this then. Let's come back to here, because this is brilliant. So, many years ago, Tattered Lace came out with a technique called Charisma. And it was coloured artwork that went along with the die. And you literally printed it off at actual size, put the die over the top, ran it through your die cutter machine, and this colourful image popped out. And it was an absolute game changer. And I kept sitting there thinking, how can I do this for Scan and Cut? Because I'm like a dog with a bone. If something, I need to work something out, it'll niggle me until I get it right. So we kept sitting there and we kept thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And I can remember clear as day, in the the Newark Road Create and Craft Studios, I sat there opposite Stephanie one day in the green room and I went, it's a rectangle. She said, sorry, what? I said, the solution to Charisma is a rectangle. She said, tell me what you're thinking. So I told her, and she went, I think that's going to work. So she said, what time are you on air? I said, 2 o'clock. She said, right, you're off at 3. Drive up to I Hope, which is literally over the road. Get John Peters to have a look at it and see if you can make it work. And within half an hour of arriving, we had this coloured piece that had been cut out on the Scan and Cut, which was so exciting. So then when Two Red Robins came along, we've also got the Reflections artwork, which is what we call the artwork for Two Red Robins rather than Charisma. So the way that this works is you will download the cutting file. All right, so when I printed this off, and it's important that you print it at either actual size or 100%. Now, it's not as important if you forget as it is with the die, because the die won't fit over that image. But because you can scale the cutting file up and down, you're not wasting it, because you'll still be able to resize the cutting file to match. On the bottom, when you print it out, it will tell you the name of the collection. So Designer Selection Volume 2. It will then also tell you the name of the file, Whispers of Rose. If it doesn't have a size on it, it's the original size. If it isn't, it will say small, large or extra large, so you know exactly which file to access. So I put the files on a USB. You don't have to. You can save them onto your desktop and import them into Canvas and send them to the machine if that's what you prefer. I'd just like to know that I've got them on a stick. So we're going to retrieve the information. Now, this isn't built into the machine's memory now. This is external. So we're going to retrieve the information or the data from the USB. We're going into Designer Selection Volume 2. which is this one. We're going to open this up and then we're going to get the file that says Whispers of Rose. So we're going to open that up. You've got your detail lines, you've got your matte layer, and you've also got your reflection cut. Now when we click on that one, you've got options. This is the original one, so we're going to select that. You've got your decoupage layers and your reflection cut. So we're going to click on that one, and that's going to bring on that cutting file. Okay, now on this screen, if you put it in the bin, you're going to take it off the USB. You can zoom in and have a look at it. You can go back if you've changed your mind, but on this screen, the only thing you really need to do is press OK. And now you'll see that we've got 4 of them and the rectangle that goes around the outside edge. It's the rectangle that's the key. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is group all those 4 pieces and that rectangle together because we need to move it. All right, so we're going to edit because we're changing it. 1 red box means that 1 shape is selected. You can lean, Ethan. Get your arms down, don't worry about that. You can see that 1 red box means that 1 shape is selected. We want to select all 5 shapes, so we use multiple select, everything that's on the mat, so all of the files. We're going to press OK because we're finished on that screen. We're going to go back to editing the object and we're going to group it together. So now I can move this. Now imagine that's on a computer screen and this is on your mat. That is really difficult to line up. So this is one reason why you need a scanner in a cutting machine, because now what we're going to do is scan this mat in with this artwork on so the machine can see it, but also so that you can see it and you can line up the rectangles from the cutting file to the artwork. Okay, it's brilliant. So all we do is press OK because we're finished on that screen. The scanning function isn't on that screen, so we're going to press OK again. And this little box here is your scanner. So we're going to scan and we're going to press start. Now, decoupage. So I've been asked quite a bit recently about decoupage, and with Debbie Moore coming now, Debbie's going to start doing SVG files with her artwork. But up till now, she hasn't. So any scanner, whether it's built into a scan and cut or whether it's external, needs contrast. So if you've got something like Debbie's Magnolias this morning and it's fine, and then part of it is very, very pale against a white background, it can't see it because it needs contrast. Now you can go around it with a pencil. It doesn't need to be a thick black marker. You can just go around the edge of it with a pencil. It needs a shape. If it can't see a shape, it will look for its next full shape. So it will come into the design and start cutting there. So if you're finding that's happening, it's because your outside edge isn't clear enough, okay? Doesn't matter with this, this is different. What we're scanning in now, and I'm just going to make the background a little bit darker because you can do that, make it darker. You can now see that we've got the artwork in there and we've got the cutting file here. So we're going to zoom in, and you can zoom in up to 400%, like so. And then all you're going to do is drag that cutting file with the red rectangle around it and line it up to the corner of that black rectangle. Now this is another point of difference. On your CM machine, when you're in zoom, you can't move the cutting file. You have to come out of it to move it. On an SDX, you can zoom in and you can move while you're in zoom mode. So it's super, super easy to do. So I'm going to press OK now and come out of there. And then I'm going to go to Object Edit. I'm going to ungroup that cutting file, tap the screen to release the shapes, and then I'm going to delete off the rectangle itself. So to get to the rectangle, you can use your select arrows, and I'm going to put that in the bin. So now all I've got is these 4 cutting files on here that will cut the outside edge. The reason I deleted off the rectangle is because I only want to cut 1. So if I cut the rectangle, when I go back with this sheet with the 3 leftovers on there that I want to use for something else, I've nothing to line it up with. The other reason I delete the rectangle is because if you look how close that is to the edge of the paper, you're weakening the paper by getting rid of all this that's around the outside. So just as a matter of course, I delete it. So if I just want to keep that one there, I'm going to change my cut area. So I'm going to go into my spanner, which is where my tools are, and I'm going to drag over the 3 that I want to keep. So it now can't see them. I'm going to press OK, and it will now just find that top one. So when we keep pressing OK and we get to please select and cut, it will tell me that there is a pattern outside of the effective area. It tells me the pattern can't be cut or drawn, but am I okay to continue? Just say yes, okay. And now it will just cut that one out, and then we press start and away it goes. This machine is absolutely phenomenal. So let me just recap exactly what you're getting while it's cutting that out. The difference between a CM and this, so first of all, this is much quieter. Much quieter. The number of times I have to keep looking over my shoulder to see if it's cutting, because you can hear it, but it's not noisy, okay? So it doesn't interfere with anything else that may be going on in the room. So if you're watching, if a family's watching a film and you want to be in there with them, you can use this and it won't affect it. The auto blade technology is a massive one. Okay, it's a huge difference. So instead of having to learn all your pressures and your blade depths for all the different materials and cardstocks that you want to cut, the machine will do that for you, which is just phenomenal. Okay, it's a much sturdier machine. It's got a stronger motor in it, and the screen is much more sturdy as well. So inside the box, you're going to get your machine, your tattered lace machine, with the regular auto blade that will come with it. They will be inside here. So inside the actual storage itself in a little white wallet. You'll also get the stylus, and you'll get a little spatula, okay? I would recommend you buying one of these, because this is a game changer for burnishing down and for cleaning your mat, okay? So that's the one of the things that I would recommend you get with all this money that you're saving on this machine. In the box, you're going to get 2 standard mats, so 2 of the stickier, higher level mats. Remember, there's a video on YouTube showing you how to retack those mats, which makes them last at least 50 times longer. I can make a mat last at least a year now, instead of a few cuts, so it's a game changer, okay? You're also going to get your stylus and spatula, etc., etc. Now then, also inside the machine's memory, you've got 682 pre-installed images, icons, shapes. You can take those shapes and make different shapes. So for example, if we wanted to create a label shape, I'm just going to put my cut area back to normal and unload this mat so I can show you this. So for example, if I wanted to make a label shape, I could go on here, I could bring on a square, set it on the mat, add a circle. So go back into patterns, back into basic shapes, down to your circle, and add those. And from those 2 shapes, I can then create a label shape. So I'm going to duplicate the circle. So I've got 2. So I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to make this into a rectangle. So I'm going to make it slightly bigger first. And then I'm going to use this button here, which separates the height from the width. So if I click on that, I can make that into a rectangle now, like that. I then want to have a circle or an oval. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to stretch that. So I'm going to go back to resize. I'm going to separate the height and the width, and I'm going to make that wider, like that. And then I'm going to put the circle in there and make that bigger. Okay, now there's also an alignment function. So if I now multiple select everything that's on that mat, press OK, go to our directional arrows because we're moving the shapes. This is your alignment function. You can align that centrally vertically, centrally horizontally. I can then weld those shapes together, which is like digitally gluing, which is this button here, and you now have a label shape that doesn't exist in the machine's memory. But also now, without going into Canvas Workspace, I can also create mat layers. So I can create outward offset lines, and I can also create inward offset lines. So if I just do this and show you, if I now zoom in on this, you will see from those shapes, you now have mats and layers. And you can do those starting at 1 inch and then in 1 millimeter, and then starting in 1/4 millimeter increments. That level of accuracy. On top of the 682 shapes pre-installed, you're also going to get 7 full fonts, uppercase, lowercase, numbers and punctuation. You're also going to get 100 quilt blocks. So for example, if you're a sewer and you go into your quilt blocks, which are here, You could select a quilt block, let's say that one. We can change it to inches because that's how you work. We can make that into a 6-inch block. It will then break all the pieces down. If I want to see what those pieces are, it will show me where they go. Tells me it needs 4, and it will set it with a seam allowance that you can set in the settings, which is 1/4 inch. So then it would draw it with an erasable pen, because you can get a universal pen holder, pop your pen in there, draw it on your fabric, scan your fabric in, draw it, and then it will cut it with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. But then on a Wednesday, you want that as a 12-inch block, you just change the size and it works it all out for you. So 100 quilt blocks in there. Then also on top of that, via the Art Spirit app, which is the brother app, it's free to download. There is a subscription that comes with it if you want it, but you don't have to use it with a subscription. You can access 90 tattered lace designs. There is also a video on our YouTube channel showing you how to do that, and you can access them, but you'll have the Art Spirit app on your tablet or your phone, and you'll send those designs to your machine via that app. So you're getting so much content. Now this should be £399.99. We knocked £100 off it, and we did it with a club deal and a tattered lace subscription deal. So we bring you different deals all the time. This is where we've just done a naked deal. This is what it is. You get the machine, the contents of the box, the contents of the machine shipped to you, with all that free education that comes along with it on YouTube. You can add on the foiling, embossing, all of that kind of thing when you've got used to your machine. But I cannot recommend this machine high enough. I've been doing something creative for a living for 38 years this year, and this is by far the best piece of equipment that I have ever used. Because if I have an SVG file of a Christmas tree and I want to do it in a frame that's that size, I can do it in a frame that's that size. If I have a die of that Christmas tree and it's that big, I can't put it in a frame that big. But I can also draw that tree, foil it, emboss it, all of those different things that we do. It's brilliant. And to get it at that price for an automatic blade machine is absolutely bonkers. Now, if you've already got a CM and you're thinking, I've got all the accessories, Mel, I've got the embossing, I've got the foiling, I've got the drawing pens, can I use them in this? Yes, you can. Absolutely you can. You can also buy another kit called the piercing tool, where it puts, you know, like the pin dot that you get in dies. It will do that for you. That only works on an SDX because of the thickness of the rubber mat that you pierce into. Because you can lift the back rollers, so the rollers, the static rollers in the machine, you can lift them, which means that you can scan in larger, thicker materials. So it needs a 3mm turning point. So 3mm to get in, rotate, meet itself and come out, okay? 3mm. It will cut up to 3mm thick. Now, I'm managing your expectations now. That doesn't mean it's going to cut through 3mm MDF or acrylic or anything that's really dense. That's something like 3mm wool felt, 3mm foam, things like that. The maximum I would put through on a grey board, something like that, would be 1mm. But the machine will automatically go on and look at it, and then we might cut it 3 or 4 times, because what it doesn't want to do is stress that blade, so it cuts it gently every single time. So it might cut it 3 times, doesn't matter. You're not cutting it 3 times, the machine is doing it. So if you've been sitting there going, should I, shouldn't I? You've heard from one of our lovely friends at home, Lorraine, wasn't bothered about the size of the screen, she can see it clearly. And this is now the time for you to invest maybe into a scan and cut and join the family, because there is so much content out there for you. And although you're investing your money at the beginning, long term, it will pay you back tenfold. It's brilliant. So decision's yours. Thanks, Amanda.
Yeah, no, thank you, Mel.
Now breathe. That was a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot, but it is a lot of a machine.
It is a lot of a machine.
And like Mel says, she's been using this machine right from the very beginning of it being launched. And actually, I was very lucky that I bought it right at the very beginning when it was ever launched. And it's one of those things, I think, when the SDX was launched, I went to Mel and I said, am I buying it, Mel? What, you know? And she went, yes. And I didn't even wait for it to be launched. I'd already bought it. Okay. It's that good a machine. So if you're in the market for that machine, please remember, shop lace 249.99 is amazing for a machine. Remember to check out your baskets. We've loved every second of having you with us so far. Stay tuned because there's still much more to come. And we'll see you in just a couple of minutes on the other side. You take care. Bye.